Hey, hello and good evening. I've got a little fade on this in the background. Nice night scene of Porto. Not actually standing by the river this evening. In San Martino de Porto, and a little glass of red because it's the evening. Don't normally drink on the morning show, but might have a glass of red this evening, and maybe a look away now, Pam. A pastel de nata this evening. Got a couple of those in my box here that I bought earlier on down at our local and favourite bakery. And I have a very special guest who I would like to introduce you to tonight with his own intro. Check this out, everybody. So here to spill the feijoada. Nearly, John. Yes, nicely matched top and fantastic intro jingle there. That what's so cool about the North, which I suspect we will get round to this evening. Thank you so much for being here live from Colorado this evening, right?
Yeah, my pleasure. It's actually snowing today. First snow of the season.
Yes. So perhaps, and you have my sympathies. I mean, I'm sure it's very beautiful. The photos I've seen that you've shared with me of Colorado are incredible. Not unlike the picture behind you. It's perhaps a little bit misleading to be talking about snow in Colorado and then they have this beautiful, what looks like alpine scenery behind you. But that's not Switzerland, is it? Or Colorado. Where is this, John, that we're looking at?
This is Ponte de Lima, northern Portugal. So it's very close to the Spanish border. It's only about 15, 20 minutes up to Valencia, which is on the Minho River. And this town is just 20 minutes east up the river from the town of Viana do Castelo, which many might have heard about. And then the big city of Braga, or bigger city of Braga, is another 20 minutes to the southeast. And then Porto is just 50 minutes, 45 minutes to the airport, 50 minutes to the south. So we're kind of pretty well located, if you ask me.
Thought you might say that. A big fan. I don't know what the right noun is for somebody who's a huge fan of the north of Portugal, but you'll get a great sense of that as we talk to John this evening. And sorry, say that again.
An advocate.
An advocate, yeah, but I'm thinking of something sort of quite specific, like a, like that conjures up the fact that you're a Lusophile, as in a lover of all things Lusophonic, in terms of Portuguese and Iberian, but with a northern twist on that.
Yeah.
And I know you're just going to go deeper and deeper into that. And one of the ideas we've got for tonight is for us to play Portugal trumps. I'm a Silver Coast fan. John is a massive Northern Portugal fan. And we might trade a few facts to see, go head to head on this with our mutual love of our places that we live.
I have a question for you about that, Carl, to check the facts.
Yes.
So I was familiarizing myself with the official names of the, there's 5 regional mainland areas of Portugal, and then of course there's the 2 island areas.
Yes.
But the area where you are, it's not called the Silver Coast. What is it called?
The Beira Litoral?
Well, it's actually part of the Tagus Valley considered region. So you have
I'm embarrassed.
And part of that area is called the, I can't pronounce it. It's Oeste,
Este, yeah.
So your area is called the Este region of Portugal.
But there are so many of these classifications. You've got your, was it 22 districts, and then the 2 autonomous regions.
Yeah. Then there's 5 main regions.
Okay,
and those are broken down into districts.
So you've got me down as Este.
Este.
And not necessarily Silver Coast, because this Silver Coast thing, some people
Coast is more of a tourist, if you will.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. We've got some feedback coming in about that already. Ribotejo You see, some people talk about Tomar being part of the Ribatejo Valley area.
Well, Tagus, 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 not
Well,
Tejo.
that's Tejo and Targus are one and the same, aren't they? One is the Roman name and one is
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Portuguese name, I believe, and hence Ribatejo. And yeah, looking at the Targus, which we're not in either of our pictures, we're looking at the Lima and the Douro, aren't we, behind us this evening? And I think this
No,
sort of thing
that's the
runs.
Lima behind me.
Yeah, you're the Lima, I'm the Douro
Oh, you're the
here this
Lima. That's
evening.
right.
Yeah, I've got me Porto image behind me this
True.
evening, and Targus is the foreign word. So as I said, I think that's maybe what it sounds Roman, doesn't it? Targus Maximus, maybe at high tide. I don't know, but thank you for that, Lord Gilchrist, who's in. He's saying, "Evening, ladies and gentlemen." Right back at you there. Lisboa, baby. Oh no, so we're playing top trumps with the Lisboeta as well this evening. So we might want to chip in with what's so great about where you live in Portugal. Excellent. Ubi is here. Thank you. Loved your contributions yesterday. That live stream conversation with Daniel was fantastic yesterday. What a gent and what a brilliant attitude he had. Esta is España. Oesta, as in West Ocean. Thank
Yeah,
you very much.
that's the one.
Esta and Oesta.
That's the region.
Not a lot in it, though, is there? Thank you for that for clarification there. Please look at this. Please don't say Targush like a common Anglophone. I, what's happening here? Have we truly upset Ubi this
I didn't
evening?
say that. I said Teju.
Yeah, I brought Targush into it, didn't I? I think that's aimed at me. I don't think Ubi knows you well enough to be quite that rude to you as he is to me sometimes. But we expect extra banter from both Portuglish Lord Gilchrist and from Ubi tonight. They don't mind sticking it to me. So we'll see how that ends up this evening. One of the topics of conversation I'm hoping is what's your Portuguese possibility? And we have an evening gathering, a Gumper gathering, and that's why John's here. Because we get together, a gathering of Gumpers, one evening a week. It might be a Thursday, it might not, but we get together as Gumpers and talk about our plans. And one thing that I was hoping to stick on the agenda was this idea of the Portuguese possibility. John, will you permit me to just go into that for a little while?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So, what's your Portuguese possibility? These are the sort of things we will be discussing in the Portugal Club, which is the name of our group, our Gumper gathering, every week. This is a slightly unusual setting and throwing the doors open this evening to everybody to consider this question of what's your Portuguese possibility. And we are seeing videos, aren't we, John, at the moment, of people who are leaving Portugal. Portugal's not for us. What I discovered about Portugal, we've yet to see. Definitely don't move to Portugal as clickbait yet. But you and I were both scratching our heads about this fellow who did Beneath the Surface. That he did pretty much like Portugal's out of the question. We're not going there. And this is news, isn't it? This is news in the whole. I called it Portugal. You know, the videos about Portugal where people are going, I want to live there. Portugal. And it's changed. You know, it's all in the last couple of years, it's all been upbeat, positive, and I've been proud to be part of that. And then just in these last couple of months, we're hearing of people going home. It's not for me. It's not for us. And we've got these new videos. What is it with that fellow? He's had some bad luck, hasn't he?
Yeah, I don't remember the name of the fellow, but I watched the same video, and I watched some of his previous ones when he was in Coimbra, and they were there for 3 months, and they were talking about all their plans, and they've gone through the D7 process and all this, but this last video he said, well, they just decided that Portugal is done for, or we're just, it's no longer in the picture, and he says, I want to ask myself why, and then it says, but it's just one of those mysteries of life, and just don't know if I'll ever know why. It's like, what?
Yeah, you tuned in, haven't you? Like, why not Portugal? Well, it's just a mystery of life, and I guess some things you'll never know. It's like, well, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
that could have been a blog rather than one of your brilliantly produced videos. I mean, the video production is extraordinarily good, isn't it? He's good at making videos.
Yeah, it's almost too intimate. It's like you're looking at all of their,
Underwear.
permutations of how their thought process changes from day to day.
Yes.
And
Yeah, and you're exhausted by the end of their video.
almost.
Yeah, and he's like this in a lot of them, isn't he? He's
Yeah.
the covers to him like, oi, oi, oi. Life is so bad, especially.
We were talking earlier, and my he didn't say this specifically, but my observation from what they were talking about in some of the videos is I didn't get the impression that they really made any local friendships or
Yeah,
connections.
yeah.
And I think that's a huge part of feeling comfortable in an area is making those efforts to make connections in an area. Um, I also got the feeling that there was something going on. He and his wife are on a different page.
Yeah, and they maybe said everything but that,
Yeah,
skirting around the issue there possibly. But that, I mean, it's extraordinary. They put a video up and like tens of thousands of people have watched it within minutes. They're
yeah,
doing something right when it comes to being YouTubers, but Portugal, not for them. And which brings us back to this Portuguese possibility, having pondered this question quite deeply. And Mrs. M is in the green room, and I got in trouble this morning for just putting her on the screen as soon as I saw her in the green room. I'm going to wait for permission tonight. Because she might just be taking a massive sip of red wine as I put her onto the screen. Let's hope that that doesn't happen this evening. Oh, no. Look. Hello.
Hello.
Hello,
I didn't give you
Louisa.
grief. Hi, how are you?
Good.
Oh, that's nice. Hugs. Hugs.
You
hugs
look really radiant with that gorgeous backdrop. Is that
Isn't he?
your new home to be?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Is
It's
that like your driveway, that
yeah,
lovely
I'm a
bridge?
little bit radiant, rosy cheek because of the lighting. The lighting is terrible where I'm sitting, but
I will be rosy cheeked soon too. So cheers.
Me too. I'm gonna have a little glass with you, given it's the evening. Everybody, please grab a glass of your favourite Portuguese tipple and join us. And we've got some lovely comments coming in already, and we'll come back to this Portuguese possibility thing because I think it's quite important. But we won't be too serious about it. And it could have been
Oh.
some help if only Beneath the Surface had talked to us and had a little bit of our one-to-one coaching. Who knows what might have happened? We might
Are
have
you
asked
talking about those miserable people?
that guy.
the overly personal people.
Yeah, see,
Overly
I
personal.
just didn't bother watching because I just thought, oh my goodness, this looks really intense, and
Yeah.
and maybe I should look because they've obviously got loads of people following them, but I wonder what kind of people are following them. Like, follow me for tips on having a miserable life. Like, yikes!
Yeah,
Well, I think it is soap opera sort of stuff. I mean, people do like to see that sort of dirty
Car
linen
crash
being
telly,
washed in public. Yeah, they
seeing
stop
things go wrong.
short of actually washing their dirty linen in publicly. But wow, they were gritty videos, and they're not on their way here. And I said we got some lovely messages. This isn't a lovely one. We're delighted to have you here with us tonight, Darren, live. But sorry to hear this. Hi, lads. Had some bad news
Oh,
today. Buyer of the UK house has pulled out at the last minute. Well, I hope you get a new one soon, and I hope they give you even more
yeah,
money. Don't know what else to say, Darren, with that. That's
really
unfortunate.
sorry.
Yeah, and of course, plans are premised on these sales, aren't they? So, hopefully, you'll be able to find a. Give us the details. If your house is online and is on sale again, Darren, we're not looking for any commission, although it would be nice. But we're very happy to put your listing up here. There may
Yeah.
be people who want a lovely house in Yorkshire, I think, God's own country there. So, Darren, let us know. Let's see if we can make a bad thing good, as Rastamouse often says. Portuguese, my dog is Roman. Barcus Aurelius. Very good. It's not that it's not the morning show, but you get one of those anyway. Steve Merwin is in. Boa noite, Steve.
Boa noite.
Great to have you here, Steve. Tell us where you at with your plans. We'd lovely to have a little update if you're happy to share. And Portuguese has been working the room. I've already banned them.
They've
Sorry,
been banned, haven't they? I can see that
if
they've
I've,
been
if
banned.
I've ruined your evening, Lord Gilchrist, I'm very happy. Sorry, I'm very sorry about that. And I think we're talking about Beneath the Surface. What's great about Figueira dos Vinhos, lots of nature, 30 minutes from Coimbra. Oh, okay, we're playing top trumps. We're not talking about Beneath the Surface. So we're in the ring at the moment. We've got we've got John representing the north, us on the Silver Coast, Portuguese on Lisbon, the capital. And looks like Figueira dos Vinhos, fantastic. We've got Bill and Marcus with us, bigging up their part of the world. And strangely enough,
Was that where we went to?
we did. We had a day there.
Did we? Is there Is there a very cold cafe that looked like it was in almost like a castle keep? Do you remember that day when it's peeing it
Yes,
down?
I
It
do.
was slightly on a corner. You took a phone call outside. Me and the kids went
Yes.
inside, freezing
Yeah.
our nuts off, like with coats and hats and
There's no need to be like that. They're doing their best to promote this place, and you're giving it a really bad review.
We really liked it though. It was freezing cold on that day.
Do you have
but
that
it was-
medieval-esque bar? That doesn't narrow it down, because Tamar has that as well. But does
It
that
did
sound
have.
like?
Did it have like some kind of medieval
I think so. Yes, that
stuff on
Figueira.
the walls and
Yes, yeah, and right in the
rustic
centre.
rustic kind of meaty meals and things like that
Who doesn't like a rustic meaty meal? And look, and
at
then
night time?
and then retiring to this wonderful garden here of yours. Thank you for sending that. That picture was sent in this morning, and I didn't get around to showing it this morning, Bill. So thank you
It's
very
really
much
beautiful.
for that. Yeah, and that's Salgueiro de Lomba going out of Figueiras dos Vinhos. If I'm correct, if I'm making sense of what you've sent in to me this evening, but great to have you here. The people in that video, let me just move your. I'd happily leave that image up there because it's fantastic. Is that your pool? Is that an organic plunge pool you've got there? The people in that video, they don't like noise and move to downtown Coimbra. I don't honk. What? Are those connected? Those comments there. Don't think Portugal is the problem. Okay. It's not. I don't honk. It's I don't think people. So I don't think Portugal is the problem. I think you might be right. But those numbers, honestly. That said, on our YouTube channel, we were given a community tab today. We're making great progress. We're pretty much halfway through to our monetization on YouTube. So thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
But Darren was caught off guard with that news, I think. So sorry to hear that, Darren. Send us the link. We'll see what we can do for you. But not Jeff as well. Lovely Gumper supporter here. Fantastic, Jeff, to have you here this evening. If you want to come on screen, Jeff, you're more than welcome as well. Yikes. Good evening. Oh, that's you.
Yeah.
It's Louisa. I love Coimbra, and boy, does it get noisy. It does, doesn't it?
Do you know what? I'd love to go and see them turn on their Christmas lights again. Do you remember when we went a couple of years ago?
Oh, you don't mean that family. You mean Coimbra. Yeah. Can you imagine turning the Christmas lights on with that family? It's like, I hate those lights. Well, you chose them. Oh my God, we got to film this because we're going to stick it up.
No, Coimbra is so pretty. It's so lovely. And there were like chestnuts being roasted and all sorts. It was really lovely. Okay. Now, I obviously joined this a bit late to the party today. Yeah. And it's about the possibility, right, of being in Portugal. Yeah, and I'm wondering, like, what have you already asked John? Because I've got some questions. I don't want to repeat them, but...
Oh, okay. Yes, that is Figueiras dos Vinhos. So you're right. The medieval bar in the centre of town. And Heike Girl is with us tonight. Bonite, so glad I made it. We're glad you made it as well as Antonio F. and Ubi, of course, and Jeff. And who else came in there? Well, we'll get back to you. Yeah, Portuguese Possibility. John, you were talking about how when the dust has settled, when you're finally, all that paperwork and all the bureaucracies behind you, you're going to be digging deep into the beauty of northern Portugal. And typically, as I have got to know you better, you won't just be consuming it as a tourist. You'll be basically documenting, sharing, and being an advocate, right, of that part of the country. And I think that's a really fulfilling.
Yeah, it's part of my goal. And with all humility, I do want to point out that every part of Portugal, can be tremendously beautiful and the best place for certain people. So everybody has their own preferences and what touches their heart. Pam and I have chosen to relocate to northern Portugal, and there are just a plethora of reasons and aspects of this area that touch us in meaningful ways. And so, I'm making a conscious effort to be an advocate for this area, but I'm fully acknowledge that there are certainly people that love other places of Portugal. So I'm just in my opinion and my experience, and obviously you can't just take it all in, and that's relatively small country, but still there's so much history and there's so much rich culture that you really kind of want to focus on the area that you're choosing to reside and learn to really appreciate those things and be able to articulate that to others. And that's what I want to be able to do for this area. Obviously I'll visit other places too, but since we're playing top trumps,
go on.
I have one. So
go on.
Did you know that Ponte Lima, so this region, is called the garden capital of Portugal. And it's not just a tourism statement. Since 2005, the International Garden Festival has been held here. And they have like 12 different gardens of different types and stuff. And there's 3 cities in Europe. There's Ponte Lima, Charmont Festival in France, and the Festival der Garden in Austria that make up the international European network of garden festivals. And so this is one of those 3.
Wow, I love
We
that.
see you. Okay, fair enough. But
No, I love that. I mean, I grew up apparently in the
Don't.
Garden of England, in Kent, which is known as being the Garden of England. Although I suspect that reputation comes from about 100 years ago rather than right now. But I love gardening, and I would love to know when it is, and come and visit. I think it sounds wonderful.
It's held. It's actually held over a period of several months, and they have international judges that come, and it's a vote of the attendees. And so when you attend, you actually vote on which gardens you particularly like the best or whatever. And so it's quite a production. So I've only just seen part of it in a little bit in June, and then a little bit in October. So I'm just
so is it like a year-long event? Are these
well,
gardens
it's
open
not
all year
year-long.
round?
It's many months long. Yeah.
Wow.
So there is, matter of fact, in the picture in my background, directly over my.
That's so hard to do, isn't it?
Come on, John. You can do this.
Over there. To the left, so if you're going across the bridge and then you turn left, that's the International Garden Festival area. But there's many different gardens in Ponte Lima. There's like 8 different botanical garden areas.
Wow.
And so to the left is the International Garden Festival area, and to the right is another garden area that you can walk around. So it's quite amazing.
Wow.
And Pam and I were here in June. I've never seen a place that's so full of flowers. I mean, everything, everywhere you go. Hydrangeas up to yin yang. You just walk along a country road with cornfields, and the cornfields are lined with hydrangeas and wisteria and all the different kinds of flowers you can think of.
Come on, John, give us a chance to match this.
I wanted hydrangeas in my wedding bouquet, but we got married at the wrong time of the year for it in England. But hydrangeas are absolutely beautiful.
Yeah,
they're so lovely. I've got 2 burning questions. My first one is, when you guys came over, you and Pam came over to check out Portugal, like, which areas did you have on your list to check out, and how did you go about checking it out? Oh my goodness, you got some great adverts coming up.
I tell you what, listen, past 36.fun. If we're not affiliates of yours, please just go. Which we're not.
Yeah,
we're not. Yeah, sorry, Lord Gilchrist, we're going to get rid of them as well. Before you answer that, John, Ubi is in fine form tonight. You've missed nothing, Louisa. How rude is he?
That's what gave me the confidence to ask to pitch my 2 great questions. My second one is coming straight after, but
okay.
Like how did you know which areas you were going to check out, and then how did you go about checking them out? What criteria were you looking at?
Before we came over here, we kind of had a suspicion of what we would like, because we both are outdoorsy people. We love the mountains and forests and rivers, and the area we live in, Colorado, is a river town and that sort of thing. So it's a mountain town as well. So we kind of obviously much bigger mountains than in Portugal, but we kind of knew what we would like in terms of topography and climate and geography and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But we made it a point to try to visit each of the regions of Portugal. So we first, we came into Lisbon, spent a couple days there, went down to the Algarve, spent 4 days down there. We stayed in, what's the name of the town, Pam? It was like the town near Lagos, but
Albufeira?
Alvor.
Alvor. Yeah.
And which is a nice little town. So out from the main hustle bustle, we went over to the Sagres and visited the corner there. So and the climate and the geography there, we're just not beach people. That doesn't float my boat. I'm not into hanging out on the beach and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
We went up to central Portugal and visited Tomar, spent a couple of days there, came over through Alcobaça, and then over to visit with you guys in San Martino and spent several days there. And we stayed in the town of Nazaré, and it was just a 10-minute, 15-minute drive down to where you guys are.
Yeah.
We loved that area. We thought it was really nice. And Tomar, we really liked. The hills and trees and everything, and the history. And we went up to Porto for a few days. I think 3 days up in Porto, and then we went from Porto up to Ponte Lima, and we spent a week up in Ponte Lima, and just confirmed everything that we were hoping for. That it really did check all our boxes, and maybe a little bit unfair in that we had already made personal connections there, and we already knew. And as I said before, I don't know if it was when the possibilities part came onto the broadcast or when it was Carl and I talking before, but I think a huge portion of connecting or of feeling comfortable in an area when you are relocating internationally is making personal connections. This isn't the first time I've lived overseas. I've lived in China. I lived in the Philippines. So I've lived in other places and gone through culture shock kinds of things, or the stages of this, that, and other thing. So I'm familiar with all of that. But to me, the biggest marker or indicator for success is being able to make personal connections. So whether that's through friends like you and Carl, and then local connections like Vitor up in the north. I have other connections up there with like Bob and Viv and with Owen. But being open to make those connections, kind of just let them happen naturally. Like, we made a booking through Airbnb to wherever we were chosen to stay there, but we got to know the hosts, Fernando Martin and his lovely wife, and they don't speak a word of English really, so we were just using what's that app? Deeple.
Deeple's good, isn't it?
Yeah, and he's so warm and welcoming, very just totally Portuguese culture, and just if there's anything I can do. And so, you just sort of take him up on it. And it's like, well, what about, he was going to help us find a rental. And then, when we came back, or I came back a couple of weeks ago, as I'd gotten to know him, he's a master gardener. And so I'm asking, we bought a house here and in Ponte Lima. And so he's my connection. We spent several hours together talking about, what type of plants he uses and what type of flowers. And this one actually you have to be careful that your dog doesn't eat because it's got arsenic in it. And,
they've got a few poisonous plants here.
What kind of grass to plant? You don't have to water as much or mow as much. So he's, and he's become a good friend that I talk with on WhatsApp. So it's just being open to those connections. And as I was telling Carl, it's like, once you start making these connections, they start to expand, because then friends of like, for example, the house that we bought. So Vera is the woman that I was working with Vitor. Well, the builder's name is Delphine. Well, it turns out Delphine and Fernando are friends. And so, we're going to have a housewarming party, and Fernando and Delphine and the guy that helped me buy a car, Mario, I got to know him, and his father-in-law is a furniture builder. And so I went up to meet with him and his wife. And so, you just make all these, you allow these connections to happen. And now, I've gotten a dozen or more friends up here already that are local Portuguese. And that's just
like real
that's
friends,
incredible.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the interesting thing that we've discovered here. I mean, I was out last night. If we're being a little bit competitive here, with
I don't think we should be competitive.
John, okay, my bad on that. But I've frozen John. I think I've frozen John. Yeah, we can hear you though, John. That's
can't move.
Well, at least you've got a nice face. Like normally, if it freezes on me, it's like this.
Yes, John. We will assume that you will come back in visually, but we can hear you, right? Can you speak to us?
I hope so. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
That's not a bad still to have, as Louisa says.
Yeah, it's quite okay.
When I was out last
like
night. Oh, that's how you sleep. It's beautiful.
Louisa, you said you had a second question?
Oh. John, come back. Oh, I was going to say there, and John's not going to hear this now, but when I was out, I got invited up by Gush Down, the legend who we will see on the morning show or an evening show. He works 9 till 9 most days, he said, and I've no reason to disbelieve him, and then some, I suspect, as well. And when I was sat with him, and did I mention I was with the deputy president
you
of
did.
the town? Okay. Did I mention I was with the head of HR as well?
Yeah, you did.
But I was there with all these high ups of the town, and they were out just, that's just their jobs. They were just out, and I just thought to myself, these people are so genuinely friendly. They're not. It's not to grift you or as you might assume from where we're from. If people are overly friendly,
you just think, okay, what's going on?
Yeah, what do these people want? But I just don't get that. And maybe they do, and some people do want something in the world. Life is a bit like that, isn't it? We're all about trading and exchanging, and there's a natural level to that. And I think that's what's so great in Portugal. Another great thing is that it is natural, and it's part of that natural networking, organic networking that John talks about. There you go.
Hey.
Is there snow on the cables there in Colorado?
Maybe.
You've got a neighbor of yours here in Colorado. That could be quite some miles away, couldn't it? But I think, well, going back to PT Country Bear, Marcus, this is, isn't it? What were your criteria for choosing a location? I think you covered that well. I too am in Colorado, says Hiker Girl, currently living in a ski town in the mountains. Too much snow already. I'll be in Portugal in February and planning to live somewhere warmer. Pete's in as well. Hi, Pete. Portugal can get cold depending on where you are, but most of the time it is sunny. That's true, isn't it? By lunchtime, it can often be a very different day. And the people are always warm. Is that from personal experience? Have you been... Plug in the locals again, Pete. And Ubi, you pulled into Nazareth. I don't know what Ubi's talking about there, as if he's being suggestive or something like that. Hiker Girl, yes, we've done that one. Excellent. Thank you, Pete. Thanks for being here this evening. And Deeple, a little bit of feedback on Deeple. Doesn't fully understand Portuguese.
Yeah.
Well, Andrew, nobody fully understands Portuguese. Not even a Portuguese. You can't expect that of an app, can you? Honestly, escala used for scale also means a layover. You never know when that could be useful, right? And if you shout loudly enough on point, especially when asking for your favorite strawberry preserve on the corner shelf, you can get surprising results.
Really? What happened?
Personal experience again there, I think. On a different note, Carl, I'm so glad you continued your live chat presence after leaving Expo. I've not really left. It's just working in a different way, all right? It's so much more like Chris Martin, is it? And what's her name? It's a conscious uncoupling. It's not a bitter. It's not Richard Burton.
And who are you? Are you Chris Martin, or are you what's the name? Which
Well,
one
I'll
of
let you
you?
decide
Which
that.
one of you is making the vagina scented candles?
Oh, that'll be me. That'll be me. I'm sorry, but that will be me, Hiker Girl. And if you look in our merchandise, a part of the new lineup is that you can buy those candles in the Gumper store. I'm so glad you continued your live chat presence after leaving Express. You were the reason I became a member. Oh, bless you, Hiker Girl. That's very sweet of you.
That's really lovely.
Yeah, thank you. And hey, but I do recommend you stay a member because the benefits you get. I'm proud to be part of designing that package and making those associations with some amazing companies. When you need to review, please use my affiliate link. Okay, hey, wonderful people, from Maria, and missing you. Well, not anymore. We're here together, Maria. It's just it's better than nothing, isn't it? There he is. Who's that? Joel, I'm thinking you're talking about, right?
Sorry, I missed
There he
the,
is.
I think it is, yeah.
the other
Okay.
call.
And this is really weird. You're talking to each other from different rooms in the same house. Cyber relation.
Yes, that actually often happens.
It does, but don't you worry, Pete. There'll be skin-on-skin action later. Solar Life Porch. You better believe it, Mrs. M.
Whatever do you mean?
Look, she's blushing. She's blushing in anticipation. Cold is
Be a
relative.
peck on the cheek.
It could be. I mean, that
Yes,
is
he'll
technically
be pressing the flesh with me later.
just shaking
In
hands
a
before
handshake,
bedtime.
yeah,
Very
a really sort of British handshake, probably.
Yes. I wish you a very good evening. Good
Please
night.
meet you.
Thank you for a lovely day today, darling.
Yes. What a lovely nightshirt. It covers your ankles beautifully, so as not to get me excited. I'll gladly spend winter anywhere in Portugal, says Ubi, over central Pennsylvania or Pennsylvanis. Although I'll go Algarve first, says Ubi. John didn't show up. What's this? John didn't. Oh, I've frozen. Something's frozen here now. Come on, mouse, do your thing. John didn't show up on our meeting today because of this lovely. Oh, sorry. Well, you could join us here, Maria, if you'd like to. Most Coloradoites probably have similar winter tolerance. I didn't know I was crashing a meeting there. I would not do that. I wasn't aware of that. And this is what you need to do. Shout out Marengo! And I don't. Have you been drinking Portuguese? We'll get back to Portugal possibilities and John and I playing top trumps here in just a moment. If you want the Colorado experience, you could move to the top of the Serra de Estrela. Yes,
Not even close.
Oh, okay. Right. I'm going to make alpha. Would you like this, Mrs. M? A dog-scented candle. It's bad enough.
No, definitely not.
Okay. Pulled into Nazareth. Okay. Remember the song by The Weight? The song The Weight by the band. Yes. Take a weight off, Mary, is it? I was feeling about half past dead. Take a load off me. Yes. Okay. Got it now. Thank you very much. Just spat out me Bovril. Was that talking?
I think that's you talking about sex.
I didn't say sex, did I?
Oh,
I said skin on skin action.
I said we were going to be having some skin on skin action. That just sounds
believe
so rude.
it, baby girl. Yeah, I always talk to her in a sort of gangsterly way when I'm getting fruity. I had an image. Come on, everybody, calm down. I couldn't agree more about winter in the USA. And sober as a member of the Lords. Okay, yes, pissed as a fart, basically, then. And yes, Solar Life Portugal. Lots of towns up there are a big draw. We enjoyed Gouvier and toured about in August, but all the fires are a bit off-putting. Absolutely.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, definitely.
Horrible.
Well, do you think Carla might get to ask my second question in a second?
Yes, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I was just about to ask, and then
it's all these people watching. Sorry, go on, carry on.
I love that last comment from Andrew. You can't unsee some things. Okay. Yeah, my second question was, how was it that you knew that like when you went to Ponte de Lima, that was the place?
Yeah.
Like, was it? I mean, obviously, you've already explained that there was this sense of belonging because of the friends that you'd made. But before you'd made all those friends, was there just something about it that like clicked?
Yeah. I mean, aside from, the general region of northern Portugal, this is a nice little river town. It's not too big. It's not too small. It's close to anything that you would need. So there's a train station just down in Viana do Castelo. If you need a mall, you can go there, or you can go to Braga. And if you want to go to Spain, you can just go 20 minutes up the road. So there's close proximity to a lot of things, but I don't want to live in an urban area. I want
Yeah.
to live more rural, a small town. Now, we're not out in the countryside where our house is. We're like a 2.5 kilometer walk to town.
Hmm.
So it's in walking distance, but our home is on the edge of a village called Corlega, and directly behind where we are, it's all farm fields, all the way to the river. And so it's only a half a kilometer from our house to the river. And one of the unique, well-known things about this region is what's called the Ecovia, which is a hiking or a walking or bike path that goes all the way from Viana do Castelo all the way up to Ponta de Barca, and then the Vez River comes down from there, and so you have Arcos de Valdevez and other. So you can ride this bike path all the way. So we're half a kilometer from that. But if I want to go out to a restaurant or go meet friends downtown, we'll go to the Roman Bridge here. It's walking distance or a short bike ride. So that was a big part of finding the right feel. Was a place where we have friendships and connections. A place where it's not an all-day journey to go to
Yeah.
a major city if I need to go shopping or go to a concert or go to a football game or something. But it's very peaceful, very quiet, and checks all those boxes.
Brilliant.
So
Great.
part of that, doing a scouting tour is we both did kind of have an image in mind of what we were looking for. And I know not everybody's going to have that, and maybe you just sort of know it when you see it.
Yeah.
But we did kind of have a personal preference in mind, somewhat because of where we live now in Colorado, because we live in a mountain town on a river, with close proximity to national parks and forests, and so this is a pretty close analog to where we live in Colorado too, and we chose to live there because of those qualities. And
did you get a moment though when you just looked at each other and said, "Okay, this is it"?
Yeah, pretty much. Just I mean, who can't love what you see there behind me? I mean, it's just
Oh, it's breathtaking.
yeah.
Colors are so vivid.
And it's that of course it's the summertime, but it's got different moods throughout the year. But it's it's just full of vineyards, and this region is also well known for horse farms and equine events. So one of the largest equine festivals in Portugal is held up here. And so if you're into vineyards and wine tour, this is the second most well-known wine region in Portugal. It's the largest wine region as far as acreage or hectares in Portugal. It's larger than the Douro.
Wow.
But the Vinho Verde is the second most well-known wine in Portugal. That's this whole area from the Spanish border all the way down to
That's pretty special. But one of the interesting things about Portugal is that sometimes the claim is made simultaneously. You're not talking about Golgan, are you, as your horse fair?
No, this one, I haven't been to it. I just have read about it, but I don't know exactly where it's held. I know
I think it's Ponte Lima Horse Fair, and there are a number around the country. Golgan is a famous one for sure, and I'm aware now through talking to you, John, that there is a horse fair in Ponte Lima as well.
Yeah. It's called the Feira do Cavalo.
Yes,
and they have purebreds from all over the regions, well-known caballeros to come compete and do racing and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, maybe in
Wow.
the river. I always love seeing riders in the river. And you'll see all. I mean, that's the thing about the horse world, isn't it? Is that all of life is there, from the poshest people to your your suspicious horse traders as well. It's a fantastic world, and I think the same is true in Portugal as well. Go on, John.
I was just going to say another little cool tidbit. The section of the river you see behind me, they do a lot of kayak or events and competitions. It's a very slow portion of the river, and so they do those sculling events, and then the ones where you like kneel on the thing and paddle. And Portugal had an Olympian in the Summer Olympics that's from Ponte Lima.
Wow.
Like a stand-up paddleboard, but you're kneeling down on it. This is a particular.
Yeah, so they have a whole bunch of different kayaking events and competition and things too.
I think somebody who couldn't possibly stand up at the moment certainly not on a pedalboard, possibly not even on their living room floor, is Andrew this evening, sending us a 3 bear rating unicorns. I want to see a unicorn at the horse fair.
We've got a 6-year-old that would like to see a unicorn at the horse fair as well.
You're not talking about Andy, are you?
No, because he's not 6.
He's apologising for his earlier pornography site public advertising.
What
all right, Andy, we're good.
What a person chooses to do in the privacy of their own room is their business, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And there's some very strange comments tonight. IPAs give you moves as well. I mean, weird, basically weird. Talking of the Golgal Horse Fair, though, we should give that a mention. We're going to our Gumper news desk. And I want the music, and I want to see those buttocks, but it's too long to play that jingle right now. Got me in some trouble.
10 seconds of it.
Just that bit.
10 seconds is good. I was wanting to say, but you had me on the screen. I was like,
what do you mean? Cut it now.
It was just a bit too long.
It is 52 seconds.
It's a wonderful piece of footage, and it did take me to
52 seconds is a short time in a love life, but a long time for a news tee up, isn't it? Just a little bit. That's all we've got time for.
There you go.
So here we are.
Cut it off, Dad.
Yes, that's Victoria Benson, everybody, who signed away.
Do you know what? I would proudly say that was me as well. I mean,
me too. No, not me. I wouldn't say.
She has a lovely little.
Enjoy. Just looking forward. You're just excited about going down to the beach. Okay, so these are John's. I mean, you did. I'm not sure you mentioned the golf course as well. There, a nice golf course in Ponte Lima as well, John. Right?
Sure.
Yeah. Very good. And your 2 videos are on our news desk. Axis, shout out to Axis. Let's try and get John an annual membership there as part of his excellent efforts to bring the course to the attention of the whole world here. And a little bit deeper into our news desk. And where are we, Philomena? Some amazing stuff on it. It's not all about us, is it, Mrs. M? I took that a bit personally this morning when Andy was saying that. Oh, Justice's T-shirts. We're going to look at his azulejos in the morning. Who doesn't
Fantastic.
like? But where are Philomena's posters gone? I'm sure. Oh, there we go. There is the International Horse Show. And maybe your Ponte Lima was a national horse show. This is the International Horse Show at Golgal, and that'll be Saturday, the 5th of November, which is not far away. That is 2 weeks away, isn't it? And you can go with Philomena.
It's not 2 weeks. It's about a week.
Exactly. And that will be the 46th National Horse Show and the St. Martin's Fair. So you'll be able to eat roasted chestnuts as well. And I love their posters. Their posters are fantastic. And
that's
I think
the same name of the one up here. I wonder if that's a rotating schedule kind of event. Like it goes.
Oh wait, no, this is
like a circus that goes around visiting cities.
It's held in different cities in different years or something.
Don't think so. I think that's Golgal is Golgal, and I think you might have another festival of your own there, John, because Golgal is some way away from you, I'm sure. I think Antonio F might be able to help us with that this evening. We're not doing well on the top trumps. Maybe I've just lain over and sort of taken a beating from John tonight on the wonderful north of Portugal. But however, you haven't got a scallop-shaped bay in which Vasco da Gama's fleet was partially constructed, as well as Henry the Navigator. Some ships for the great explorations of Portugal were made in San Martin.
You know what? John said something earlier that him and Pam had that I don't think you and I had?
Is that a question? Is that we're going to leave that there as a quiz?
No, they
Skin on
had
skin action? No, what?
they had a clear view of what that place looked like. They had an idea as to what their perfect place looked like.
Ah,
And
yes.
they'd already kind of sort of pre-confirmed it in, they already had a sort of an idea. And it also kind of matches a little bit their life that they already love.
Yes, that's interesting, isn't it?
And
Purposeful. Law of
That's why we
attraction.
visited everywhere else first, because
yeah, that's always good, isn't it?
everywhere else first.
Yeah.
Like we've come over with such an open idea of what we want and not really specified it. Like people say, what about this? And we're like, why not?
Yeah.
What about this? Oh, why not? We've not really had a very specified idea.
And in law of attraction terms, the universe says, okay, where do you want to live? And we go, yeah. And the universe says,
exactly.
the universe says, can't really work with that, guys. Try this.
The camper van stops.
Yeah,
exactly. Yes, exactly. A hiker girl had a question for you, John. Sorry if I missed it, but are you renting or did you buy already?
We did buy.
Went and came and bought.
It's a new build. It's not a an existing farmhouse or something.
Yeah.
But we had some advantages in that aspect because we didn't just run across any old realtor or whatever. We did take advantage of knowing Vitor and him putting us in touch with a good friend of his whose name is Vera. And she knew a builder whose name was Delphine, and this builder was highly recommended, and he said he's very reliable, very dependable, always goes above and beyond what's expected, and so he grew up there. He's so it's one of those things where it's not just taking a shot in the dark or do you know this builder or not, and who knows, but it's through these recommendations and through friendships that we have a level of confidence and trust in the builder that you otherwise wouldn't have any idea. And it just totally makes a difference. So yes, we do own it. It's being built and we're picking out paint colors today.
Isn't that amazing? From Colorado. Where are you happy to say whereabouts in Colorado you are, John?
We're in central Colorado in Chaffee County in the town of Salida on the Arkansas River.
Salida, which sounds Portuguese, doesn't it? Sounds familiar. After we settled in here, we realized that it reminds us of our old home back in Pennsylvania. Yeah. There you go. Interesting.
I suspect when we find a place that reminds us of your favorite road in Devon, that'll be where we settle.
Well, it's pretty much, I've got that, haven't I? When we drive along the Atlantic Road, I love that. I feel very at home there. But I think I'm essentially nomadic. This weekend, starting tomorrow, Craft Beer Fest in Lisbon. Thank you, Antonio F. Benfica, Palacio Baldeia. They also have cider as well. And Ubi, I really love Constancia. We liked it there.
Yes. Yeah, is that where they have the beautiful
River Beach?
It's where they have the lovely River Beach. We had an enchanting afternoon and evening there.
Very nice. Very nice.
Really wonderful.
Magical.
We really liked it too.
Yeah, where there's Zezé joins Tojo, I already have a romantic novel incubating in my head based on a short day spent there. What happened to the erotic novel that we were writing together? I have to talk to the slug about that in the morning. We are going to the Gogon Festival with Philomena and Andy. That's going to be fun. I imagine there's still some places. Yeah, that's going to be great, isn't it? Hanging out with Philomena. She gets people into restaurants. It's like, sorry, we're fully booked. Philomena, come this way. She's known all over Central Portugal. Nice. I had a taste already of belting IPAs from Lisbon. And apparently, maybe it's the estrogens in Indian pale ales that gives you moobs. Yes, they can grow on you, of course, moobs. Well described, John. I'm so looking forward to seeing the area where you're going to live. Yes.
Yeah, we are too, actually.
We are. The housewarming, I think, is going to be great fun.
We have 3 bedrooms, so there's room for you guys and your kids.
Oh, lovely. I have a lovely story. A gentleman meets a Portuguese nurse.
Ooh,
a work of fiction. He's describing himself as an English gentleman. That's a title given rather than grasped like that, a Portuguese Andrew. But that is a lovely story, and we know, yeah, you're a fabulous couple, fantastic. Antonio F, I was in Gilgal this past August. It's very hot, so we didn't do any riding. Well, hey, but we may schedule a visit for the horse fair next year. I fell in love with this. Yes, you and your Zorro hats.
Yeah, their little vest that they wear.
The little bolero stuff. Yes, you and I would look good in those, John. I think we should go out on the town just like that, without horses, just with the outfits. The horse owners also. Yes, ponchos as well. It's great.
Yeah,
Just want Clint and Lee Van Cleef to ride in. That's more like you and me, John. I think, isn't it? Yes. Evening all from Owen. Hello, mates.
Owen.
Yes, and I think you had some interesting little adventures with Owen up in the north there, and we saw the evidence of those. It was great.
Buddy.
Yep. Brilliant. And a week on Saturday. There you go. Week on Saturday is the Golga. Garvo is going to. Maybe we can schedule a Brexit. Like, what's that? What's going on over there? Oh, it's just the Brits fighting over Brexit again. Still? Yep. Ubi, Final de Golga will start in November the 4th, 2022, ending. So it's look at that. A whole week pretty much of fun, more than a week. And the culmination, well, certainly the best day to go will be with Philomena, I'm sure, on the 7th. Castañas, asadas, roasted chestnuts. Yeah, my girl is into that. And yeah, absolutely. That's a smell all over Portugal at the moment. We're into the St. Martin's time of year. Pete, I like where your head is. We'll have to summon the ghost of Bronson to make the vibe complete. Wow, wow, wow. Chestnuts. What's Jarapega then? We don't know what that is.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Jeropiga. Yes, intervention from Antonio, Pete. Jeropiga.
Still don't know what it is. What is it?
Benhaja. If you can spell it, you aren't drinking enough of it. Well said.
See, Hiker Girl says that she's from Pagosa Springs. So if you you would love Ponte Lima area and the Lima River Valley. So with the
there you go. That's some lovely.
Do you know? I've got another question. Really burning question. Like last time I saw you, John, you were showing me pictures of back home.
Yeah.
And
in Colorado. Yeah.
Yeah. And I, as lovely as Portugal is, you know, and I've got quite a few American clients as well. And when they send me their pictures of their new homes they're buying, or their, you know, the countryside and the settings and these vast vistas, I have no idea why you would trade that in. And because like we are like the little sister or the little brother of big old bad America.
Well,
it's just so huge and vast and impressive. And
some people that have gone to Portugal, because we're not like, taking up roots and relocating full time. We're going to be
of course,
half and half. So we're going to be 6 months here or 4 months here, 8 months in Portugal. So we're still going to keep our place here. But as lovely as it can be here, and as wild and open, and that's all. Those things are all true. But where Portugal outshines, where we are here is in. I only spent a couple weeks there, and then a couple more weeks, and I made 12, 16 friends.
Yeah.
I lived in a house down near Denver. We lived there for over 20 years, and I think we knew one neighbor. And it's just
okay. That's answered my question perfectly. So you're following your heart, not just your eyes.
And I'm a friendly person. You are. I might make friends, but people are just more closed off. And not to be critical of America, but just part of the stereotype is true that Americans are very good at superficial relationships and just telling your life story to the person you met, on the next door seat on your airplane. And I'm not like that. I don't like that. I don't like talking to people that they're sitting next to me on the airplane. I don't want to know their life story. But if I'm with, like Fernando there and getting to know his family and asking, that's a natural relationship. It's a natural connection that you can make for both sides. And it's not an artificial, superficial thing.
Yeah, as you've said, the relationships you've already made are incredible. You're not even here yet, and you've made incredible relationships, haven't you, deep into the community, which is fantastic. We've got a few more. I think we should conclude soon. John, you've been so generous with your time and your insight here. It's been lovely talking to you. We haven't talked a great deal about Portuguese possibilities. In some ways, I suppose it seems a little bit of the shadow, the dark side. Maybe we don't want to talk about what happens after the honeymoon period, but we are available to talk about that. It is a real thing, and I mean, Mrs. M and I think that is part of this whole phenomenon at the moment. People are not necessarily thinking about that. John's talked about his contribution, and I think that's a really important thing long term, to think about contribution as well as what's coming from the country, is like what people are investing back, and it's something to have in the mid and long term picture. And it's always a delight to talk to people about that. So we're here at your service to do that. Sometimes in this public domain, and other times one-to-one if you want to do that with me or Mrs. M. A lot of people for some reason prefer talking to Mrs. M. I don't know why that is. We'd love a picture of this, please, Andy. Guy has bought me a Portugal flag poncho for the stadium. We must see a picture of you in that. And are you going to do face paints as well? Chris, we did get the worst apple pie recipe ever.
But Chris, it was so lovely to hear Mrs. I'm
lovely.
losing my voice today. Mrs. Tompkinson. I mean, it was lovely
You
to have
did shout
her.
at me quite a lot earlier on today, didn't you? We had quite a heated row, didn't we? That might be why you've lost your voice. And that should always be resolved with skin-on-skin action. What's this? Coders in the evening. Did you receive the recipe? We so did. Jalapeño, sweet and
now
herb.
that's a recipe I would like, because I love making
like
things.
It sounds like you. Sweet, herbal, and homemade.
I love making things, and fermenting in particular. Really love that. So PT Bear, if you can send me that recipe, I'll be so grateful. What's that?
Jalapeño. You do like to ferment. Jalapeño is the name given to a traditional alcoholic drink of Portuguese origin that is prepared by adding aguardente to grape must. What could possibly go wrong? And Bairandi is here. I just stumbled upon this live stream. We'll watch earlier stuff on Catch Up later. We were asking people to tell 3 people I love you. And I think we've had some amazing early results on that. John, you've got the most amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, but
that's so lovely.
It was so lovely to talk to you about that, John. We don't need to go into that now, but thanks again, John. That's lovely. What I do want to share with you is this here. What are these stars? Are these the meetups? Somebody has been working behind the scenes on the Gumperverse, on our very own map here. We know that Andy has been. Oh my goodness, I've got to share a different version of this map now, because this is incredible. John, have you put anything on here yet? I know you're an IT guy.
Is Pantalima on there?
Well, it will be by the end of the evening, I'm hoping. Now, let me bring it onto the screen. Andy is doing the most incredible work here. Let me just blow it up a little bit bigger, as the actress said to the bishop. And look at that. This is the Bairrada area. Stop it, Mr. M. And look at how busy Andy has been there. And then I think what's happened, somebody has done meetups with black stars. Who's done this? Bless you, whoever you are. It's had nearly 500,000 views so far.
Wowzers, that's amazing.
This is a point layer to see if the Gumper community would like it. Well, we certainly do, Sarah Yerman, who started this. You're amazing.
Is this something I can do myself?
Absolutely. It's peer-to-peer. It's user-generated content. And the black stars, somebody's done that since I last looked. And these are the meetups that have been. I think it might be Andy, with a little help from his lad, who's a techie guy. But look at all these on the left there, all those wonderful events. I think the Belgian trip is on there. So we've got meetups, we've got Gumper points of interest, some of our favorite places. Look at that. This is shaping up beautifully.
It really is. So lovely.
And there's the cougar head of the of Portugal. Does that look like that to you? We're seeing a big cat, aren't we? Drinking from a little pond, which is.
I always thought of it as a witch's face.
Really, I'm not seeing that.
Yeah, like you've got to scroll out of it.
Jaguar.
You've got to come out of it.
Yeah. I say jaguar, but I like it when people say jaguar.
You only really see the witch's face when you back out and then see the.
No, we've got to hear John.
The border to Spain.
Sorry about that, Mrs. M. But we've got to hear John saying jaguar in a British accent. John.
Jaguar.
Jaguar.
How very charming.
How very charming. Excellent. Jaguar. Okay, Bairrandi, you legend with your stuff that you're doing on.
It's amazing. Thank you so much, Andy.
Nearest neighbour, says Pete, is 5 kilometres away. They might be telling you something, Pete. I don't know. I'm not sure. That happened to us too. We met 2 neighbours in Virginia here in Portugal. We have a lot of friends and awesome neighbours. Isn't that fantastic?
They do, don't they? They have lovely neighbours.
They do. They do. That's
When
lovely.
we've gone over to your house, Maria, you said, "Look what our neighbours have given us. Look what our neighbours have given us."
Yes.
It's amazing.
Thank you, John. See you soon, says Hiker Girl. Owen, question for John.
Welcome.
Are you missing Miss Minnie?
Oh, I'm
Is that your car?
Little Mini Cooper, yes. It's plugged in and sitting patiently in the lot there at the BMW dealer.
Oh, lovely, lovely. It'll be great when you get back and have a little spin in that. And I can relate to John. Snowbirding is how I'll migrate to Portugal at first, gradually spending more time there each year as kids grow up. Great strategy. And I'm thinking, there's snowbirds, there's swallows, people who fly from UK to. I'm thinking of calling you Maya Delates, half and half. How about that?
Ubi, how old are your children, if you're happy to share? I'd love not to share your children, but like,
no, we've got enough children already. What are you talking about?
I'd love to know, like, what age range are they in?
Yes,
it's kind of an interesting phenomenon, like when you're moving over and you're also hoping that your children are going to really like the place that you're choosing for them.
Yeah, let us know.
You never really know.
Quick shout out to Hiker Girl, because I don't think we mentioned it, but here in Ponte Lima, there happens to be like 4 or 5 other couples, all from Colorado.
It's incredible, isn't it? I mean, there's something happening there, isn't there? There's something about the vibe.
It's like you guys are twinned.
And I didn't know that when we came here. It's like strange little magnet.
All right, we're in our concluding phase here, but it's so lovely to have so many comments. And sometimes you wish you hadn't asked people for photos. Here is he's looking like a Portuguese vampire goes out.
That's fantastic.
Isn't it?
It's perfect, just at the right time before Halloween. It's lovely.
Yes, you could go out on Halloween with that as well as to the football.
You can go like this.
Yes. How about that? Stay off the garlic on that evening. Thank you. It was all me. Look at that. Andy did do all of that. That is a bit of a challenge, though, Andy, isn't it? I think you are asking for a little bit of a challenge, so it doesn't look like the only things that happen are in the Bairrada region. But Andy, not to take anything away from you, you have done a fantastic job there.
It's amazing.
And I think other people will step in when they see that. I think, hold on a minute. We have good events too in our part of the country. So let's see. Antonio F., the usual given ratios for the confection of jeropiga are 2 parts of grape must to 1 part of aguardente or brandy. The must natural fermentation process is interrupted by the addition of alcohol. Stop-start fermentation.
I've got to ask though, Antonio F., where do you get, like, you just don't go to Intermarché and say, can I have 2 parts of grape must, please? Like, where do you get that from? Do you have to just go and buy a load of grapes and then let them go?
After they've been crushed, surely, right? After the grapes have been pressed for wine, that's the byproduct, isn't it? Nothing is wasted.
I always think of the must as being like the sort of like the furry bits on it. Is that not?
John, why are you smirking at the furry bits?
I like Ubi's comment there.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I thought you were smirking at the furry bits. Colorado is one of the most magical places in the US. So I expect you will always have a van by the Arkansas. Is that the Arkansas or Arkansas River?
Arkansas, isn't it?
Arkansas
River to spend a week or 2 in the summer each year. Is that an in-joke for you Americans there?
What, Arkansas?
Were you having a van by the river there? Is that something?
Oh, well, that's an inside joke to, was it Farley? Chris Farley on Saturday Night Live.
Oh, okay.
The van down by the river.
You had to be there, John. Next time we have wine together, can you go through that whole routine and we'll have a giggle about that. Tony, there is a drink we haven't tried. Better have some abafado. Thanks for all the great information. Look at this. This is great. Kids are 18 and 14.
Oh wow.
There you go.
Are they both planning on coming with you when you come over
to Europe? They'll have a great time over here, won't they? And I'll probably miss their friends and maybe do a bit of Maya delating themselves. Wow, thank you for letting me know, Taika Girl. Almost 15, still working on selling them on. No, you can't do that. I effing love this cape. All right, let's show the cape again. Yes.
It's lovely.
Why don't you screenshot of that, Andy? Look at him. Beautiful. Well done, Guy. You made a man. You made an English lord very happy. Yes, Antonio. I've never had a bad Portuguese wine, but I haven't yet tasted them all. So there's a great.
It's a good challenge for yourself, isn't it?
Isn't it just? And does John have contact info he's comfortable sharing?
Sure.
Maybe the Expats Portugal forum will be one way, but I can moderate that, facilitate that, if that's okay with you both. My one and only Jarapiga ended with me taking 30 minutes to walk home. 20 feet away.
Is it like the French eau de vie?
It could
you
be,
know, which is about like
absolute
60% proof or something that knocks
Yeah.
you out.
Norwegian aquavit.
Yes.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
So top shelf, it's hidden in the attic for special occasions. Chris Farley as Matt Foley, the motivational speaker. So there we go. There's an in joke there. Louisa, you can buy the Jarapica in the supermarket. If you want to make your own, you'll have to grow your own grapes or buy them from a producer. There you go.
Yeah, I would only want to make my own. There's a certain amount of pleasure that comes from, you know, like taking the time and doing it yourself. I don't know.
Yes, love. A bit like your kombucha on Saturday. There's nothing like the pleasure of spraying kombucha over the entire kitchen on a Saturday morning, is there?
Yeah.
You get that great sense of satisfaction from that. Still a lot of it there.
Hey, I made all the alcohol for your 50th birthday party. Don't forget
it was,
that.
Was that elderflowers and what did we have?
I made elderflower beer, booze, dandelion beer.
Yeah, can't remember a thing. Dandelion beer, that was great.
That was really good.
They sell Jarapiga, and the cakes were fantastic as well.
They
sell
make
Jarapiga
cakes
from
too.
most shops. I recommend the Cantanhede brand, one of the highest alcohol content. That's why he moved to that part of Portugal.
Okay, well, I might buy some as well.
And look at this. Try as you might. Antonio F, one of our great Portuguese friends here, don't know if it's possible to taste them all. A bit like YouTube videos. Apparently, you know, there's so many YouTube videos now. Nobody will ever be able to watch them all. It's the same for Portuguese wine. Isn't that a lovely thought? And who hasn't got friends with vineyards these days? So true, right? Check us out. 20 feet away. Yes.
That's a whole other night, isn't it? You know, us talking about like drunken nights.
Yes. I meant getting them to like Portugal, not selling them. Oh, I see. Whoops. Already sold. In whatever illicit fashion you might have been imagining. Okay, fair. Selling the idea, not selling the children. Fair enough. Now we get it, Ubi. Thank you, Ubi, for being here. Antonio F. by Randy. Hiker Girl, Lord Gilchrist, Pete. Who else was here? We had Pete
Owen
there as well, didn't we? And Owen, of course. Please, can we see a video of that? Maria was here as well. Chris Rattenbury, Mrs. T in as well. Not that one. And anyone else we missed, so sorry if I missed you, but I think that's just about everybody who was here this evening on this very special conversation with you, John and Pam in the background. Lots of love to you both. We'd give you a squeeze if we could. Yeah, thank you so much. There you go. That's beautiful. Across the airwaves there. Thank you so much, John. Thank you, Pam. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Should we play your jingle again, John? Because we're going to see you, aren't we? Will we see you on the morning show? You might have to record these, but certainly when you're in the country,
I don't have that alarm set, but a lot of times I have to get it to pee around the time that you guys start the show.
I don't know what to quite make of that. It's like, you know, the show you watch when you're having a pee break in the night. I think must have a better strapline than that. I think, but all viewers are good viewers in our view. This is what we can look forward to. Spilling the feijoada.
I like that.
It's good, isn't it? It makes a nice change from what he doesn't tell you. A good bollocking for me every morning. And John, Pam, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. There's you. Wow.
Come back, Pam.
Come back in.
Oh, that was a brief. There you go. Thank you, Pam, for being there. And I think a last couple of comments then from everybody this evening. It's been lovely doing it in the evening. What are you laughing at? Enjoy
Pete's last comment.
Yeah, enjoy your skin-on-skin action tonight.
Funnily enough, it's called SOS, isn't it? Which might be Might be
Too
what
late for you.
That's what SOS. Jazz hands. Delighted to conversate. Isn't that fabulous? Muito bom to all. And yes, I have another book cataloguing and reviewing every Portuguese wine, or maybe you'll just crank out YouTube content. We'd love to see that. We of course, in a week on Monday, we've got our Vinho Verde tasting. I hope as many of you as possible can come along to that. Bah, chucka wow. Is that what I'm supposed to say? Mrs. M.
Wow, wow.
Take care, John and Pat. We'll make that our final word. And we'll play out on our morning theme, which we'll see you tomorrow with Frank. Frank, hopefully, fingers crossed, will join us, maybe fresh from sleeping on the beach. Who knows? See you in the morning, folks. Thanks, John. Thanks, Pam. Thanks, everybody. Ciao for now.
Lots of love. Boa noite.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.